Diddy really screwed up, and I'm not referring to his criminal trial, which has him sitting in prison right now, but it has to do with something that happened right before he got arrested. If you've seen the Netflix documentary about Diddy, Diddy The Reckoning, which 50 Cent produced, there's some footage there that had never been seen before. This is a photographer that Diddy hired to follow him around and document his life. That footage ended up going to 50 Cent.
And maybe that's what Snoop went through. I don't know. But let the people know, because it was too early back then. You know, Pac just had died.
So this one night, 50 called me up and, you know, they got him on the phone, man. He was just talking. We was talking about old time shit, you know, sit down with Black Hands, sit down with, you know, with Puff kids, the whole Puff situation.
Just as the controversy appeared to be fading, a new wave of viral clips and online discussion reignited the conversation, pushing it back into the spotlight. This time, however, attention unexpectedly shifted towards Snoop Dogg. Social media posts and sensational headlines began circulating, suggesting that Snoop may have faced pressure or possibly received protection over content that never appeared in the documentary. Some commentators went further, questioning the true nature of the so-called Gone deal, what 50 Cent's project intentionally revealed or omitted, and how Snoop Dogg has responded publicly. Most importantly, we'll separate what has been confirmed from what remains purely internet speculation.
You know, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. It's downloading right now.
Then you look at the scenario how everybody used Pac to make themselves famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs for Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs for Puffy. You got Steve Harvey old bit that, you know, this motherfucker telling, well, Pac, according to everybody else, he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these are dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, huh? Hey, whoa. Wait a minute, fellas here. Hold on. You know, I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we got to stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my people.
Well, that's what we came in for. We came in to light it up and ride it up. We never used to hand. Now, Pac, if you love Pac so much, how you with the mother that everybody say got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York, then the second one.
What you think about Suge comments? And I never asked you this before, but did you have an issue with Snoop hanging out with Diddy after Tupac got killed?
I always felt that was wrong. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm talking about from that, like now, okay. You know what I mean? I'm 46, Snoop probably early 50s. If he figured out now, he might go by the opinion like, okay, Puffy had nothing to do with Pac. You know, we grown now. If he want to be his friend, no problem. But back then, that was just awkward. You know what I mean? And the reason why it was awkward to me that I never even like it because you knew how Pac felt about this individual. You know what I mean? Even if you don't agree with him, you probably could have said, you know what, I probably ain't gonna come out, you know, publicly with this because until things clear up. So I really know I could be certain that, you know, they didn't have nothing to do with Pac. But it's like, it was no, you know, okay, it is what it is. So that I never really respected that back then.
So you had an issue with it. You didn't like it?
Never really liked it. It just was a strange look because you was Pac boy. You know what I mean? Puffy, you know, it's clear they had some issues with Pac. And Pac died and all of a sudden you chilling with Puffy. Back then it just, okay, now you can say what you want. We're all grandfathers, I guess. You know what I mean? That's different now. But back then I think it was
Snoop Dogg's name never appeared in any official court documents. He wasn't mentioned in formal filings, nor did he come up in the federal case that ultimately led to Diddy's conviction. Yet, despite the lack of legal evidence, online conversations quickly began linking him to the controversy. This connection wasn't based on court records, but on historical ties and long-standing industry relationships. Snoop has been a key figure in hip-hop for decades, moving through the same circles as Diddy and other influential names during some of the genre's most turbulent periods. After the documentary's release, Gene Deal, formerly connected to Diddy's security team, surfaced repeatedly in interviews and reaction content, further fueling speculation.
Video with these guys. I went there knocking on their door. Doom, doom, doom. Tell them dudes to come out. What's up with your, what's up with your and Pop? You got a problem with Pop? Cause we could just fight like man to man, face to face, and then shake hands. That was my approach with them. But when they told me they didn't have no problem, I don't mind being with you. You know what I mean? I don't mind shaking your hand because they told me they had love for Pop. So that's different. You know what I mean? If he come out and say, well, I already, I questioned Puffy about it. I believe that he didn't, he loved Pop. That's my opinion. I can move the way I want to move. So when people try to, I noticed somebody, I think on your page do that, where Napoleon was in the video with Mobb Deep. They don't know how I got in that video with Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? I pulled up on him but I'm the type of person, I've never been a bully type of person. You know what I mean? If I talk to a person like a man and they tell me face to face, look, I got love for Pop, I'm comfortable to know if I can look in their eyes and if I believe what they said, I have the right to say, okay, no problem. I believe you. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what Snoop went through. I don't know. But let the people know because it was too early back then. Pop just had died. You know what I mean? Like he had the right to say, the reason why I'm rolling with Puffy, I questioned him about my homie. He gave me this answer. So then he did what he had to do. But it just, you know what I mean? I never really agree with that.
Narrative becomes dangerous. When personal associations are treated as evidence, facts are sidelined and suspicion takes their place. In cases like this, the loudest voices are rarely the most accurate. The reckoning was never intended as an indictment of the entire music industry. Its focus remained squarely on Diddy. The documentary traced his rise through Bad Boy Records, the power he amassed, and the systems that allowed that influence to grow unchecked for years.
Okay. And he's filming it there. But of course, when you get, obviously it wasn't a clean sweep on the prosecutor's side, but you're still going to prison.
Yeah.
He basically kind of scraps it. It's not also Netflix is saying, because they commissioned it, right? Netflix is saying, all right, cool. Just turn over what you got. And what we'll do, we'll make it what it is because we're just following reality. Diddy's like, well, hold on now. If I lost the case, I'm down to still do it with you, but I got to be able to control it. Now, Diddy was probably going to kind of shape this doc to make it look like, hey, this was malicious prosecution. They kind of went really hard at me. Mm-hmm. I'm not a perfect guy, but I am a good guy.
Yeah.
And Diddy was like, I need to be able to craft it. And Netflix was like, no, you're not. And he's like,
well, my question is, did he sign the footage over to Netflix so they own it? Mm-mm. Like, how were they able to do this without his?
No, but he didn't pay for it. So essentially, they're calling it a payment error. Oh. So essentially, the deal falls apart, or he's like, yeah, we're not going to do this.
So awkward.
And the people who did the work that have all this footage, they're like, so wait, you told us to film because this is going to be on Netflix. Now you're saying Netflix doesn't exist and we're not getting paid because Diddy was going to pay with Netflix money.
The documentary took a measured and deliberate approach at a time when sensational accusations often dominate the headlines. It avoided naming individuals unless their involvement could be corroborated by documentation or credible testimony. That same caution is why claims of withheld or secret footage remain unverified. No confirmed videos have surfaced, and no legal filings mention Snoop Dogg. Investigators have also never publicly identified him as a subject of inquiry. Contrary to online speculation, Snoop openly expressed support for 50 Cent after the documentary's release. He shared messages backing Curtis Jackson and made it clear that no rift existed between.
Absolutely next level. And this totally ties in with, how he famously is a big fan of Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Now, rhetoric with a capital R, I can just give you the definition of that. That's basically public speech, particularly public speech that is to persuade. Any persuasive public speech is rhetoric, right? Now we kind of break that down into two subcategories of rhetoric with a lowercase r and dialectic. Rhetoric is essentially everything else, and really what moves the needle with like 97% of people and 100% of groups. okay, is in fact rhetoric with the lowercase r. So again, stuff like this, 50 Cent is an absolute master of. Basically, you know, he dropped this doc, this 50, this Sean Puffy Combs doc, and it's just kind of set the internet on fire. It's beating out Stranger Things. Like, it's a wild ride to watch, right? And
most frequently cited claims comes from Courtney Burgess, who said he had flash drives believed to be linked to Kim Porter. He alleged that these devices contained sensitive material involving high-profile individuals. From there, online commentators began speculating, often inserting Snoop Dogg into the narrative. What is frequently overlooked is important context. Kim Porter's children have publicly denied that any writings or materials attributed to their mother are accurate. Federal authorities have not verified the contents of the flash drives or confirmed that they are relevant to any investigation. Legally, appearing in unverified material does not imply wrongdoing.
Paid $500,000. The $500,000 was paid to the guy on the right, all the way to the right. You see the guy on the right, Corey? He's the one allegedly that got the $500,000, and that money never went to Keefe or anybody else. The guy on the left is the one that stole the chain, the chain, which was a Death Row Records chain. That's a way of saying I got your rapper's chain, because if you were one of the guys, Death Row. So long story short, this whole thing is a recording that he said this. So what does Diddy do? Rob, can you pull up this song? It's a song called Black Rob, featuring Mark Curry and Mario Winans. If you can just type in lyrics, okay? So he gets $1 million. Can you go to the lyrics? And Diddy's in the lyrics when he gets started. Go a little bit lower. Can you type in the word in there, Rob? Nice guy. Type Control F, nice guy. Okay, right there. Look at it's 1999. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Been nice too long. I'm just going to start making y'all disappear. Man, first I'm going to take your records off the radio. Then I'm going to erase your social security number. You know, take your birth certificate out, flies. I'm going to do your whole effing family. Ain't nothing but mercy. And then, by the way, in the lyrics, he says, I'll drop $1 million on your head to erase you. Can you type in, I'll drop $1 million, just put Control F. Just go to Google and type this out. I'll drop $1 million on your head. I'll drop $1 million on your head, and just put Diddy next to it. Right there. See, it says Black Rob. What song came up?
Right.
I'll drop $1 million on your head. Erase you and your whole family, biatch.
Wow.
Suge Knight has repeatedly accused Snoop Dogg of disloyalty and tried to link him to events surrounding Tupac Shakur's death. These claims often resurface whenever the music industry faces renewed scrutiny. However, they are neither new nor supported by verified evidence. Many of Knight's statements have come while he was incarcerated, often in interviews that gain attention more for their controversy than for factual accuracy. Snoop Dogg has consistently denied the allegations, emphasizing that they stem from long-standing rivalry and personal resentment rather than
down that it's like, yo, I ain't never with her again, and I ain't never with him again. Puff and Suge had a conversation behind the House of Blues about was we all right, and Tupac was alive. Tupac wasn't dead. So if it was a war, Suge ain't having no conversation with Puff about we good. I know he could be doing the Hoboken hustle, trying to fool a brother. But had he killed my man or something like that, I wouldn't have no conversation with Puff. I'd been like, yo, you know what y'all niggas done? You know what happened? And it wasn't no conversation like that, brother. It wasn't no conversation whereas that, you know, Suge made Puff feel like I'm going to get you a payback for what happened to Jake. this was more so that Puff, for whatever reason, Suge, for whatever reason, he was mad at Puff. And Puff, for whatever reason, he was mad at Suge. It was between them two. It wasn't no whole East Coast wanted the West Coast dead, and the West Coast wanted East Coast to dead, because they still was going out, still chilling, still at places with each other. It was Bad Boy, and it was Death Row. It was no East Coast and no West Coast. West Coast dudes were still coming out on the East Coast getting love. East Coast niggas was still going out on the West Coast getting love. It was Bad Boy versus Death Row. And that's what it was, bro. And it was because of the two CEOs. But Suge tried to straighten it out. I got to get at the Suge. The Death Row East Coast, the Death Row East was going to bring in Eric B. It was going to bring in Big D. And those brothers was from the East Coast. So now, they was looking for a representative to come to the meeting from Bad Boy so they could straighten out the between Hawk and Big and Death Row and Bad Boy. And Puff is the one who refused. Puff is the one to refuse to send a representative or either come himself. And got mad at zipping them because they were in the Mirage on 57th Street partying with Suge Knight. Got mad at them.
Often blur repetition with evidence. A claim repeated enough times can start to feel true, even when it lacks a solid foundation. This psychological shortcut is powerful, and many online commentators rely on it heavily. In the process, important context is frequently lost. The relationship between Suge Knight and Snoop Dogg fractured decades ago, shaped by business disputes, personal conflicts, and highly publicized feuds that are well documented. Statements made within that history of hostility deserve careful scrutiny, not
But instead of just saying less, since I've been in here, Snoop and other people been having people trying to bail the guy out, Keefy D, because he talking too much. Raising them trying to do stuff for Puffy because they say he talking too much. They even had somebody talk to me and say, hey, you can help him get free. I said, look, I don't have nothing to do with none of that, and I'm not leaving prison to go to Nobody County Jail. To the point they were saying, well, you can't leave and sacrifice a little bit in the county jail to stop that black man from getting life? Hell no. I ain't wishing bad on him at all, because I don't want to see nobody go to prison. And like I told you last time, as I find out more details about certain things, I probably would go to the Vegas County Jail if me and Keefy D with Sellies. We have a good conversation after I give him, six upside his head, another 6 in his body, and another 2.
Persistent claims is that Snoop Dogg went silent following the documentary's release. A quick look at his activity, however, disproves that narrative. Snoop remained active online, posting about music, business ventures, and publicly showing support for 50 Cent. The perception that he disappeared stems from selective focus rather than evidence. When people become invested in a particular storyline, they often overlook information that contradicts it. Snoop did not issue panic statements, deactivate his accounts, or retreat from public life. He continued managing his enterprises, including his ongoing role with Death Row Records.
And they ask about the history of 50 and him, issue that they've had. What's the one you just pulled up, Rob?
This is where they talk about the feud, and then I also have 50 Cent talking about Diddy's reaction to the documentary.
Yeah, that's so funny. That is so funny. But watch this one here. Go ahead, Rob.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
What they consider a pre-existing beef, right, for 20 years, right, is me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping, or I looked at it like it was like a tester. Like maybe you'll come play with me type of thing, right? And it's not personal.
I think it's important to also let people know that the show is not completely the perspectives of people that did not like Sean. We weren't trying to just get the highlights, the salacious details, that the real goal was to storytell. And not everyone needed to have an allegation to be a part of this project.
Yeah. I mean, so that's that part, right? The fact that the feud with the two of them, hey, let me take you shopping. Like you say that to a girl in 50s, like, what are you talking about? Take me shopping. How do you ever flip a mind? You want to take me shopping? And then last but not least, Rob, the other clip you have of 50 is talking about how he thinks Diddy's going to like this documentary. Go ahead, Rob.
Sean Combs watches this,